Hello everyone, welcome to my channel guys. It's almost 2023 and as tradition of sorts, most of us cinephiles in YouTube space, we rank our favorite films of the year. And even though like my channel started at 2020, I have never done that video, but this year, yes, I definitely wanted to do this and wanted to rank my top 10 Indian films of 2022. So initially I thought how I should rank. Should I just do it intuitively of what I think in my heart which is my favorite film or not? But initially I thought that, later I gave up on that idea. So what I did was I listed down my favorite films of the year across languages, and Indian films, not the Hollywood films or the foreign films, only Indian films. And then I scored them out of 10 in various parameters. I'm just gonna put up that file in front of you to see. You can pause and check out my scoring, and out of that I picked up my top 10 based on the scoring that I gave. So yes, without further ado, let's talk about my top 10 films of 2022. One of the best Hindi films to release this year. It's quirky, funny, dark, and intelligent at the same time. The film boasts of an amazing cast, but it was Rajkumar Rao and Huma Qureshi who were the show stealers. From the fast-paced editing, edge-of-the-seat storytelling, amazing BGM, and superior performances, this film is entertainment guaranteed. Vasant Bala is an incredible writer as well as director, though in my opinion, he has always been highly underrated in the Hindi film industry. Out of his entire filmography that I have watched, this for me is his most superior product. The way the thriller and the humor aspect has been balanced in this movie is commendable. The intelligent execution of dark comedy in a murder mystery film has been done to perfection. This is clearly one of the best Hindi films to release in 2022, and you can watch this on Netflix if you haven't. This movie is one of the biggest surprises from the Bengali film industry. If you are a cinephile and love Satyajit Ray's work, then this movie needs to be in your must-watch list. The visionary that Mr. Ray was has been perfectly captured in the movie. This is not just a story celebrating him, but also a lesson in filmmaking. I swear it felt as if I was in a filmmaking masterclass when I was watching it. The movie captures his journey of making the iconic Pather Pachali and how it came into fruition. Anik Datta's direction and Jeetu Kamal being the spitting image of Satyajit Ray makes this movie an absolute must-watch. You can currently watch this on ZEE5. It is so weird and kind of surprising for me also that the two films that tied together has been the most uncomfortable films that I watched this year. The amount of disgust and heartache that this movie generated inside of me cannot be comprehended. In both the films, the central character for whom that feeling of hatred gets generated is the father. The Tamil film Gargi deals with a very serious and traumatic topic where a school teacher, played exceptionally well by Sai Pallavi, tries to prove her father's innocence in a child abuse case. The events that unravel will positively make you recoil and shook to your core. Not only this movie was painful to watch, but the sensitivity with which this topic was handled is commendable. The Malayalam film Appan boasts of a protagonist who is probably the most cruel, narcissistic character to be written this year in cinema for me, and it has been played to perfection by Elencia Lopez. The movie very cleverly shows how a bedridden person can single-handedly manipulate his entire family to make their lives as miserable as possible. He is the character I hated the most this year in cinema. The feeling of disgust for Appan as well as the feeling of empathy and pity for his family just went hand in hand so beautifully while watching this film. Both the films deal with complicated family dynamics, and in case you have not watched it, you can catch both of them on Sony Live. I recently watched this Tamil film on Netflix, and honestly, this movie is like a breath of fresh air in the rom-com genre. The story deals with the theme of trust between two people in love amidst the chaos of social media. When both of them are forced to exchange their phones for a few days, their actual personalities and truths starts to unravel, and what follows is a chaos that is an absolute joyride to watch. A movie which offers a tight screenplay that rarely falters, backed by creative editing, cinematography, and excellent BGM, BGM, this is definitely one of the coolest films that I watched this year. Pradeep Ranganathan as the director as well as the main lead shines through and through, but it was Satya Raj that was the show stealer for me. Even though this movie has largely been tagged as the Gen Z rom-com, but I feel that every generation needs to watch this film because there are something or the other which you can take away from it. And this is one of those films that I actually regret missing out on watching in the theaters, but no problem, if you have not watched it, you can catch this now on Netflix. 3 films tie at the number 6 spot: Kala, Ponniyin Selvan 1 and Triple R. Starting with Kala, which is streaming on Netflix, this is the best Hindi film of 2022 for me. Impeccable art direction, costumes, dialogues, cinematography, color grading, performances and music. Tripti Dimri, Babil Khan and Swastika Mukherjee bring in their absolute A game in this movie. A story where the protagonist Kala seeks for her mother's approval and how it shapes up her decisions, her life and what toll it takes on her mentally has been beautifully portrayed. The seesaw of emotions that Kala goes through from her childhood up until the very end is nuanced and painfully captured. Also, I would like to reiterate that the music album of this film is the best one to drop this year in Hindi cinema. Each song has its own life and is narrating a story within itself. This is a movie that will mesmerize you as well as ache you. Mani Ratnam's much hyped saga met with somewhat a lukewarm response when it released because the audience expected an action-packed ride. When the film had released, I had just started reading the novel, and now that I have finished it, I have a newfound respect for this film because to squeeze out so much information and make a film which captures the true essence of the novel is seriously commendable. This is a complicated and nuanced political saga which is set in the backdrop of the Chola dynasty and is backed by beautiful visuals, amazing BGM, great songs and great performances by the ensemble cast. And it surely left me craving for part 2. Honestly, Ponniyin Selvan 2 is a film that I am looking forward to watch eagerly in 2023. Currently, the movie is streaming on Amazon Prime Video. The last one to take the 6th spot on my list is the magnum opus that the entire world is talking about. I don't think any of us anticipated what a global phenomenon this movie would become. Of course, there is an audience which think that the movie is overly hyped, though I honestly feel it is not. I mean, are there better films than RRR? Yes. But is it one of the best pieces of commercial cinema that I watched this year? An absolute affirmative yes. VFX, art direction, songs and BGM, but most importantly, the bromance. It's the crackling chemistry between Junior NTR and Ram Charan's character that has all my heart. And I think at this point we really need to get out of this thinking that just because it is a commercial cinema, it's not good. A lot of people think that commercial cinema is not real cinema, but the fact of the matter is a movie like this can only be visualized by a very few filmmakers, and S.S. Rajamouli is one of them. In the end, I can only thank him for giving us this magnum opus and taking the Indian cinema to the next level. Number 5 on my list is the very first film of 2022 that I watched in the theaters. It is Vineet Srinivasan's Hridayam, an epic coming-of-the-age romantic drama that my heart and soul was craving for. It is a good 3-hour saga, literally without any lag in editing, which is honestly a rarity to find in love stories. The movie has been made with so much heart and soul, and it reflects in the performances, the narration, and the music. The entire album is one of the biggest highlights of this film. Each and every song is beautiful. Apart from that, Pranav, Darshana and Kalyani put forth solid performances. But it was Selva played by Kalesh Ramanan that had all my heart. If you have lived that campus life, then the first half is going to be a nostalgia trip. The second half shows us the beautiful growth that the protagonist Arun goes through. And I feel that it's not just the entire journey of Arun that we witness, we also take this journey along with him. There's a clear emotional connect that I felt with all the characters of this film. In case you have not watched it, catch it on Disney Plus Hotstar. Solid action, swag moments, 3 amazing stars in a single film that one can only dream of BGM that sets the screen on fire, and last but not the least, Argentina and Rolex. Vikram is all things you want from an action drama saga. From the get-go, the film gives you moments to hold on to, and it is backed with absolutely satisfactory payoffs. The film smoothly inserts itself into the Kaiti universe, which makes me so excited for the upcoming projects that will be given by Lokesh. If someone asked me which is the best action film of 2022, it is definitely Vikram. And honestly, it is not just the well choreographed and sleek action for me. It is also the emotional connect that you develop for these characters that makes this film special. Kamal Hassan, Fahad Fasil and Vijay Sethupathi in the same film. I mean, that is literally a dream come true for movie lovers. And on top of that, you end the film with Surya's cameo as Rolex. I mean, goosebumps is guaranteed. This film is the perfect example of style plus substance. And if you have not watched it yet, catch it on Disney Plus Hotstar. A survival drama which is shouldered completely by Fahad's acting chops is the third on my list of favorites. A movie where the second half barely has any dialogues but still manages to keep you at the edge of your seat, boasts of commendable acting, cinematography, BGM, and direction. It is not just a survival story of a man stuck beneath the debris of his own house, but it is also a story of his rebirth, his evolution, and a complete shift in his perspective. There are honestly many lessons to be learned by watching this film. Fahad Fasil's top-notch acting and A.R. Rahman's magical score will stay with you for a very long time after you finish the film. But it is the cinematography that gets the biggest cheer from my end in creating such a claustrophobic environment. Even though I watched this movie in a large theater, it was because of the cinematography that I felt that the walls were closing in on me. Though I'm pretty sure that watching this film in a TV or a laptop will not generate the same impact, but I would still urge you to watch it in case you haven't. The movie is currently streaming on Amazon Prime Video. Are we even surprised that this movie finds a spot on my favorites list? In fact, this is the most watched film for me in 2022 because I watched this twice in the theaters and twice after it released on OTT. Rishabh Shetty is the man of the moment. He truly is the definition of the one-man show for me. In the recent Film Companion Actors Adda, he was asked how did he shoot within the stipulated time in such a less budget? And his answer was he just had to because he couldn't afford to extend the schedule. As for him, 15 crore was the highest budget that he was working with. So it did not matter even if he had dislocated his shoulder. The show must go on. Seriously, what a man. A culturally rooted story made with so much conviction that completely resonated with me and left me speechless. And the movie is not just about the final climax, which of course is epic and will be talked about for years to come, but it is the journey that the protagonist takes to actually get to that point that makes this movie so much more worthwhile to watch. Kantara for me this year was not just a film, it was an emotion and it was an experience that I will not forget for a very long time. The best kind of satire is what this movie will offer you. A man who is an ex-robber fights for his innocence and self-respect in court against a government official and creates waves in the system. This film is what intelligent writing looks like. It is funny, thought-provoking, and something which is the need of the hour because it shines a ray of hope that a common man can and should have a voice to raise against the system fearlessly. We know that in a democracy, the law does not discriminate, but we also live in a reality where we know that the powerful person can mend the law as per his own will. It is the common man who is left to suffer and run around. This is Kunchapo Bobon's finest performances. Out of all the films of his that I watched, this is the best one for me till date. He plays the character with so much sincerity that your heart is going to ache for him. If you're a fan of satirical storytelling, then this movie needs to be on your watch list. And honestly, I would like such movies to travel across the nation because we need stories like this. You can catch this movie on Disney Plus Hotstar if you have not watched it yet. I will probably run out of adjectives in explaining how good of a movie this is. A commentary on our current system and how the public gets played in the hands of the media and the politicians. You would feel as if you are part of the social experiment yourself. If I have to talk about a near perfect film made in 2022, it is hands down Jana Gana Mana. One of the biggest honor for me this year was the opportunity that I was given to talk to the director Dijo Jose Anthony and understand his mind behind making this film. Not only is it masterful storytelling, which obviously is very thought-provoking as well, one actually needs guts to make a movie like this. Prithvi Raj and Suraj give the performances of the year, and Prithvi Raj's speech inside that courtroom is still resonating with my mind. What you think that the movie will be when you start watching the film and what you get by the end when the movie gets over, that entire journey will just give you goosebumps. So yes, those were my top 10 Indian films of 2022. I want to know your ranking in the comments below, and there are a couple of films that I missed out on watching, and they were like raved about in this year. So I'm pretty sure if I had watched, they probably would have ended up in my list. But yeah, this was my list, and I want to know your list, your ranking, and your overall thoughts on these films. And yeah, that was the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this, and I wish all of you a very, very, very happy new year. Hope you all have a great year ahead, and I'm gonna sign off from this video now, and I'll see you soon next year on my next video. Bye.